I almost didn't know what I wanted to say. I was almost scared.
Selena Gomez just exposed the disturbing truth about what happened between Diddy and young Justin Bieber.
Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy.
Right after this video emerged, the internet was enveloped with terrifying allegations about what Diddy did to young Justin Bieber. However, that did not prepare anyone for the scalding tea that Selena Gomez is spilling. Diddy's trial officially kicked off on May 5th, 2025, with jury selection at the Daniel Patrick Moynihan Courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Opening statements began on May 12th, 2025, and it's expected to last around 8 weeks. The trial is open to the public but prohibits cameras and electronic devices, which means we're relying on reporters inside the courtroom to give us the tea. And honey, that tea is scalding hot. Diddy is facing some serious charges here. And when I say serious, I mean the kind that could put him behind bars for the rest of his life. We're talking 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, which carries a potential life sentence, 2 counts of sex trafficking, each with a minimum 15-year sentence, 2 counts of transportation for prostitution, up to 10 years each. According to the indictment, Diddy allegedly ran a criminal enterprise involving sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. He's been held without bail since his arrest on September 16, 2024, with the judge deeming him a flight risk. His defense team, led by attorneys Mark Anthony Agnifilo and Tenny Garagos, with recent addition Brian Steele, known for representing Young Thug, has rejected a plea deal and is arguing that any relationships were consensual. They've claimed Diddy led a swinger lifestyle and are suggesting there's racial targeting involved in the prosecution. The jury selection process has faced challenges, with the court struggling to reach a pool of 45 qualified prospective jurors. As of May 7th, 2025, they had qualified 35 jurors, with the judge aiming to add 10 more. Potential jurors have been questioned about their knowledge of the case, including exposure to media like the documentary The Fall of Diddy, and were provided a list of over 100 names and places that might come up during the trial, including celebrities like Michael B. Jordan and Kanye West. What's particularly interesting is the presence of Diddy's family members in the courtroom. His mother, Janice Combs, attended the April 18, 2025 pre-trial hearing wearing sunglasses and a bright blonde bob. According to reports, Diddy was wearing a blue sweater, white shirt, and glasses during that appearance. Quite a different look from his usual flashy style. But what people really want to know about is the evidence and testimonies coming out in court. And let me tell you, they are shocking to say the least. Several witnesses have already taken the stand, including Israel Flores, a Los Angeles police officer who was working security at the Intercontinental Hotel in 2016. He testified about responding to a distress call following a video capturing Combs assaulting his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. According to CNN, Flores recounted seeing Ventura with a purple eye, her desire to leave, and Combs offering cash, which he interpreted as a bribe. Then there's Daniel Phillip, a male review manager who testified about his paid sexual encounters with Cassie Ventura in 2012. He stated that Combs was present, directed the encounters, and recorded them, even taking Phillip's driver's license as a threat. Phillip also witnessed Combs allegedly dragging Ventura by her hair and noted that Ventura appeared drugged during one encounter. But the prosecution's case seems to be centered around 2 key accusers, referred to as Cassie Ventura and Jane, victim 2. Cassie, Diddy's former girlfriend, is expected to be a pivotal witness, with allegations dating back over a decade. Her husband, Alex Fine, was spotted in the courtroom, suggesting her testimony is imminent. Notably, there's also victim 3, who was listed in the indictment but may not testify. Fox News reported that prosecutors revealed on May 9th, 2025, that they cannot locate her, which could impact the case significantly. The FBI raids on Diddy's homes in March 2024 revealed some eye-opening evidence, including AR-15 style guns, large capacity magazines, and perhaps most infamously, over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. This last detail has become a focal point in media coverage and has led to endless memes and jokes online. Diddy's legal troubles aren't limited to this criminal case either. He's facing over 63 civil lawsuits as of April 2025, with allegations dating back to the 1990s. These claims range from sexual assault to physical violence, with some involving minors. This all sounds bad, right? Well, his defense team isn't backing down. They've acknowledged that Diddy has a history of violence, but deny the sex trafficking allegation. Their strategy seems to be to separate his admittedly immoral behavior from the criminal charges he's facing. According to reports from the courtroom, they're telling jurors just because it's immoral doesn't mean it's criminal. But with new witnesses taking the stand each day and shocking details emerging about Diddy's alleged freak-offs, which we'll get into in part 2, the trial is rapidly becoming one of the most closely watched celebrity cases in recent memory. In our next segment, we'll dive deeper into the shocking testimonies coming out in court about what allegedly happened at these infamous freak-offs Trust me, you do not want to miss it. The details are absolutely wild and will have your jaw on the floor. The prosecution's opening statement set the tone for what would be a series of jaw-dropping revelations. They introduced the concept of freak-offs, allegedly multi-day drug-fueled sessions organized by Diddy that involved coerced sexual activities. According to Lauren LaRosa, who's been reporting from inside the courtroom for The Breakfast Club, the prosecutors didn't hold back.
So they dropped a big bomb when they mentioned that Cassie will testify that a male escort performed a sexual act that required him to urinate. That would stop people in their tracks for sure.
I'm sorry, but what? I don't even have words. And that's just the beginning of the allegations. LaRosa continued with more disturbing details about an alleged incident involving Cassie.
He grabs his gun. Two of his staff members, one of the staff members said that she did not want to go, and allegedly she was forced to go, so they labeled that kidnapping. And they went to this man's house looking for Cassie in this rage. Cassie wasn't there, and it was like all hell broke loose.
This testimony paints a picture of someone with explosive anger issues and a willingness to use intimidation and force to get his way. Not exactly the image of a music mogul we were sold for decades, is it? But perhaps the most compelling testimony so far has come from a male escort, Daniel Phillip, who claimed to have been involved in these freak-offs with Diddy and Cassie. LaRosa shared details about his appearance in court.
They called this guy. Which witness y'all want to go with first, the male escort or the LAPD officer?
Whatever's more entertaining.
The male
They're
escort.
both entertaining. Okay, so the male escort.
She described his physical appearance and how he came to be involved with Diddy and Cassie.
He met them was through his boss. So his boss came to him one day and said, "Look, I have this couple who wants to do something for the wife. It's a bachelorette party."
But what was framed as a bachelorette party turned out to be something very different. And she's like, "Listen, your boss told me that I'm supposed to give you $200. Ain't this what he's alleging?" And instead she gives him $4,000. She's like, "I want to explain to you what's about to happen." The escort then described what allegedly happened when he entered the hotel room.
And that him and Cassie had sex on the couch in that hotel allegedly, and that the whole time Puff sat in the corner and masturbated.
Executive producer, that's what he called.
I mean, executive producer? That's a new euphemism I never wanted to hear. That's like calling a tornado a surprise outdoor redecorating event. Way too cutesy for something so disturbing. What makes this testimony particularly damning is that it corroborates many of the claims made in Cassie Ventura's lawsuit against Diddy, which was filed in November 2023 and settled out of court the next day. According to reports, that quick settlement might have been a strategic error on Diddy's part. Had he fought the case, perhaps the allegations would have stayed contained to a civil matter. Instead, the lawsuit seems to have opened the floodgates, with dozens more accusers coming forward and federal authorities launching an investigation that led to the raids on his properties in March 2024. Perhaps the most shocking testimony so far has come from Cassie herself, who allegedly took the stand recently. According to LaRosa, she broke down the freak-offs into disturbing steps.
But she broke the freak-offs down in steps as well. She said that the first step was there was like masturbation, and they would have to do masturbation. It would be her and the escort, and she would have to talk out loud and describe what she was seeing.
She continued with more disturbing details.
She says that, it was very well choreographed. Like, it was almost, when she was describing it, I was like, it sounds like he was shooting a music video.
Executive producer.
No, for real. She says that, there were certain supplies that they would have, right? So they would do candles as the lighting, and it would always be like Glade, or there was another brand that she mentioned because he wanted it to smell a certain way. And then she
Glade.
then she says that they would get extra linens, and we've heard this story, but she said that because we heard before that there were extra linens because
It's Dookie on the sheets.
So what she said was she was actually made to have freak-offs during her period.
The testimony also included details about supplies used at these events. This testimony about baby oil aligns disturbingly well with the evidence found during the raids on Diddy's properties, those infamous 1,000 plus bottles of baby oil that have become a central talking point in media coverage of the case. The prosecution has also introduced evidence about Diddy's behavior outside of these freak-offs. A particularly damning piece of evidence is a 2016 surveillance video that shows Diddy assaulting Cassie in a hotel hallway. This video, which was released in May 2024, shocked the public and seemed to validate many of Cassie's claims about physical abuse. They've also shown how Diddy allegedly used his business empire, including Bad Boy Entertainment, to facilitate and conceal abuse. According to the indictment, he allegedly employed staff members to arrange logistics, contact victims, and help conceal the abuse. Another chilling piece of evidence is a resurfaced 2002 interview where Diddy jokes about locking women in at his parties.
They just, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
He also explained why he kept his parties hot with no air conditioning.
It's a little kinky, but
Yeah.
rock with me. But just check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
No.
Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose.
I don't know about you, but making your guests uncomfortable by cutting off the AC so they get loose doesn't exactly scream host of the year to me. That's like inviting people over for dinner and then hiding all the forks so they have to eat with their hands. Except, way more sinister. So how is Diddy's defense team responding to all of this? According to La Rosa, they're taking an unusual approach. She continued, whether the jury buys it remains to be seen. But according to La Rosa, the defense team has been effective in cross-examining witnesses. The trial is expected to last around 8 weeks, with more witnesses scheduled to testify. The prosecution claims to have substantial evidence, including videos, audio recordings, and real-time messages, to support their case. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal team is fighting back, questioning the credibility of witnesses and challenging the interpretation of events. As the trial continues, we can expect more shocking revelations and testimonies. The case has already sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, with many celebrities distancing themselves from Diddy and the narrative around his legacy dramatically shifting. Let's dive into perhaps the most talked about aspect of the Diddy scandal, the allegations involving young stars, particularly Justin Bieber and Usher, and those infamous freak-offs that multiple witnesses have described. Let's start with Justin Bieber, since his name has been floating around in connection with this case for months now. For those who need a refresher, Justin was just 15 years old when he began spending time with Diddy, who was in his 40s at the time. There's an infamous video from 2009 where Diddy talks about having Justin for 48 hours and saying it was a 15-year-old's dream.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream.
In the same video, Diddy then compares the situation to his relationship with Usher.
I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
This comparison to Usher is particularly disturbing given what Usher has since revealed about his time living with Diddy. In a 2016 interview, Usher described his experience.
Moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
When asked about what he experienced there, the gun was found lying in the car and was identified as one that had been reported stolen in Georgia, and none of the 4 occupants of the car had a license for the gun. However, in 2001, a Manhattan jury acquitted the hip-hop mogul of all charges brought against him, which included 4 counts of illegal possession of a gun and 1 count of bribery. But this is where the story gets a little more interesting. Shine, who was Diddy's protege, was found guilty of 5 of the 8 charges against him. As it turns out, one of the victims of Diddy's shooting has been trying to tell the world that the music mogul shot her for years. However, her testimony has fallen on deaf ears for over 2 decades.
Yeah, and you have said since really right after the shooting that it was P. Diddy who shot you.
I said it immediately. I literally watched them pull out the guns. I've had a clear point of view. I mean, for God's sake, I got shot in my nose.
Rapper Shine has also maintained that Diddy threw him under the bus. According to Shine, Diddy's legal team called a witness to the stand to testify against him.
It's not a matter of, turning your back on me. Like, how do you call a witness to testify against your comrade?
The witness that Shine was talking about was Charisse Myers, a bouncer at the nightclub. According to Myers, when the shooting started, she fell on top of Diddy, and the music mogul didn't have a gun with him at the club. However, what she said next drove the last nail in Shine's coffin.
But even as her testimony helped exonerate Puffy, it implicated Shine. Myers told jurors that it was Shine who first opened fire inside the club, letting off 2 shots toward the ceiling. Shine's lawyers conceded that their client fired his gun, but only in self-defense.
Diddy has long maintained that he didn't throw Cheyenne under the bus.
I did not force anybody or tell anybody to say anything that would damage or hurt Shine's case.
And now the case may be reopened. Will Diddy finally serve his time for these crimes? Only time will tell. Meanwhile, if you enjoyed this video, click on the boxes playing on your screen to watch similar content.